I woke up that Thanksgiving morning to silence. Not the peaceful kind of silence that comes with a sleeping household, but the hollow, empty silence of abandonment. I lay there for a moment staring at the ceiling, listening. Nothing. No voices from the guest room where my son David and his wife Jessica always stayed. No video game sounds from the den where my grandson Tyler camped out. No coffee maker gurgling in the kitchen. I sat up and checked my phone. 6:30 in the morning. Still early, but David's family were early risers, especially on holidays. Tyler was usually up by now demanding breakfast and complaining about whatever new thing had captured his teenage disdain. I walked through the hallway in my robe, my bare feet silent on the hardwood floors I'd refinanced the house to install 3 years ago. The guest room door stood open. The bed was made, their suitcases were gone. My chest tightened. I moved faster now, checking the den, the downstairs bathroom, the kitchen. Empty. 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 On the counter, I found a note scrawled in Jessica's looping handwriting on the back of a grocery receipt. Mom, we decided to take Tyler to Cabo for Thanksgiving. The resort had a last-minute opening and it was too good to pass up. We'll be back Sunday night. There's a frozen dinner in the freezer for you. Happy Thanksgiving. Mom. She called me Mom when she wanted something or when she was pretending we had a relationship that didn't make my stomach hurt. I read the note 3 times, each time feeling a different emotion. First shock, then hurt, then something else entirely, something cold and calculating and very, very clear. They'd left me. On Thanksgiving. The holiday I'd spent the last month preparing for, buying groceries for, planning the menu for, cleaning the house for. They'd snuck out in the night like thieves, except thieves usually take your valuables, not your dignity. I walked to the living room window and looked out at the driveway. David's BMW was gone. Of course it was. I imagined them loading it in the dark, whispering and giggling, afraid I might wake up and ruin their plans, afraid I might make them feel guilty for abandoning a 52-year-old woman on a day meant for family and gratitude. I should have been crying. A year ago, I would have been. I would have called David's cell phone, voice shaking, asking why they didn't invite me, begging to understand what I'd done wrong. I would have spent the day alone in this big house, picking at that frozen dinner, wondering where I'd failed as a mother. But something had shifted in me over the past few months. Maybe it was turning 52 and realizing I had fewer years ahead than behind. Maybe it was watching Jessica use my credit card for a $700 handbag 2 weeks ago without asking. Maybe it was Tyler calling me an old witch under his breath last Christmas when I asked him to put away his phone at dinner. Or maybe it was all of it, accumulated and compressed into something dense and powerful. I stood at that window and felt a smile spread across my face. Not a sad smile, not a bitter smile, a smile of pure, crystalline purpose. I walked to my home office and opened my laptop. 2 years ago, when David convinced me to upgrade to a smart home system, he'd done it because he thought it was cool, because he wanted to brag to his friends about his mom's high-tech house. He'd set it all up himself, showing off his technical knowledge, patronizing me the entire time. What he didn't know was that I'd spent the last year taking online courses in home automation and network security. What he didn't know was that I'd slowly, methodically taken full control of every system in this house. The locks, the thermostat, the security cameras, the Wi-Fi, everything. I pulled up the smart home dashboard and stared at it for a long moment, my finger hovering over the mouse. Then I clicked. First, I changed all the door codes. Front door, back door, garage door, side entrance. New 6-digit codes that only I knew. Then I activated the security system's lockdown mode, something David didn't even know existed. It would prevent any override attempts. Then I did something truly inspired. I accessed the geo-fencing feature, the one that tracked when family members' phones approached the house. I set it so that when David's, Jessica's, or Tyler's phones came within 100 feet of the property, I'd get an alert. I'd know exactly when they were coming home. I sat back in my chair and laughed. Actually laughed out loud in my empty house. Then I got up and made myself a proper breakfast. Not a frozen dinner. Eggs Benedict with hollandaise sauce from scratch, fresh squeezed orange juice, and perfectly crispy bacon. I set the dining room table with my good china, the set my mother left me, the one Jessica always said was old-fashioned and depressing. While I ate, I thought about all the previous Thanksgivings. Last year, I'd cooked for 12 hours straight while Jessica sat on her phone and David watched football. When I finally served dinner at 6, they'd eaten quickly, barely tasting anything, then spent the rest of the evening in separate rooms on their devices. Tyler had complained that everything was too fancy, that he wanted McDonald's. The year before that, David had invited 6 of his work colleagues without telling me. I'd scrambled to stretch the meal, running to the grocery store at the last minute while Jessica complained about how the unexpected guests would cut into her shopping time the next day. The year before that, they'd shown up 4 hours late with no apology, and the turkey had dried out waiting for them. I'd never said anything, never pushed back. I'd smiled and accommodated and adjusted and accepted. Well, not anymore. I spent the day pleasantly. I watched old movies. I read a book I'd been meaning to finish. I took a long bath with expensive bath salts Jessica had given me for my birthday, still in the package because she'd told me they were too nice to use on a regular day. Apparently being abandoned on Thanksgiving qualified as special enough. Around 4 in the afternoon, my phone chimed. The geofencing alert. They were coming home. I dried off, got dressed in comfortable jeans and my favourite sweater, and made myself a cup of tea. Then I settled into my reading chair in the living room, the one with a clear view of the front door, and waited. I heard the car pull into the driveway, doors slamming, voices loud and sunburned sounding. Tyler was complaining about something. Jessica was laughing at something on her phone. David was saying something about being glad to be home. Footsteps on the porch, the sound of a key sliding into the lock, then confusion. "What the hell?" David's voice, annoyed. "The key's not working." "Maybe you're using the wrong one," Jessica said. "It's the only house key on here." "I'm not an idiot." "Well, it's not opening." "I can see that, Jessica." I sipped my tea. "Try the code," Jessica said. I heard beeping. Then an error sound. More beeping. Another error sound. "The code's not working either," David said, and now there was an edge to his voice. "Did you change it?" "Why would I change it? I don't even know how to change it." "Well, someone changed it." A pause. Then Tyler's voice, dripping with disdain. "Maybe Grandma locked us out." They all laughed, actually laughed at the absurdity of that idea. I stood up and walked to the front door. Through the privacy glass, I could see their shadows. I unlocked the deadbolt manually and opened the door. They stood there on the porch, tanned and tired-looking, surrounded by luggage. David in an expensive resort polo. Jessica in designer sunglasses that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Tyler in a shirt that said beach mode, with an illustration I won't describe. "Hi," I said pleasantly. "Welcome home." David's face flooded with relief. "Mom, thank God. Something's wrong with the locks. The key won't work and the code—" "I changed them," I said. Silence. They stared at me. "You—" "What?" David said. "I changed the locks and the codes. This morning after I woke up and discovered you'd abandoned me on Thanksgiving to go to Cabo." Jessica's mouth opened. "We didn't abandon you. We left you a note." "Oh, the note, yes, very thoughtful. There's a frozen dinner in the freezer for you, Happy Thanksgiving." I smiled. That was touching. "Mom, this is ridiculous," David said. "We just wanted a family vacation." "Without family? You know what I mean. You wouldn't have enjoyed Cabo." "You didn't ask." "We didn't think—" He stopped. "Didn't think what? Didn't think I'd want to come? Didn't think I'd mind being left alone on a major holiday? Didn't think at all?" I tilted my head. "Which one, David?" "Can we have this conversation inside?" Jessica said. "We're tired and we've been travelling all day." "No," I said simply. Tyler stepped forward. "Grandma, stop being weird and let us in. I need to pee." "There's a McDonald's 3 blocks away." I'm sure they'll let you use their restroom. What the hell is wrong with you? David's voice was rising now. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. It's my house. My name is the only one on the deed. You live in Phoenix, remember? You just visit here. And right now, you're not visiting. You're standing on the porch. Jessica pulled her phone out. This is insane. I'm calling who? The police. To tell them that you abandoned the homeowner to go on vacation and now she won't let you in. I raised my eyebrows. Please do. I'd love to have them on record. I'm your son. Yes, you are. And do you know what you said to me last Thanksgiving? I looked directly at David. You said I should be grateful you even came, that you could have spent the holiday with Jessica's family, but you did me a favor by being here. His face flushed. I was tired. I didn't mean, and you. I turned to Jessica. Do you remember what you said when I asked you to help with the dishes? You said you didn't come all this way to do housework. I was joking. And you. I looked at Tyler. Do you remember what you called me under your breath last Christmas? The boy had the grace to look down. An old witch, I said. You called me an old witch because I asked you to put your phone away during dinner in my house at the meal I cooked. Mom, David started. I'm not finished. Do you know what I've been doing this year? While you've been living your lives, visiting occasionally, using my house like a free hotel, using my credit cards like a personal ATM, I paused. I've been learning. I took courses in home automation, network security, digital privacy. I learned how every system in this house works, the locks, the cameras, the thermostat, the Wi-Fi network, everything. Jessica's eyes widened. You've been spying on us? It's my house, but no, I haven't been spying. I've been preparing for this exact moment. What moment? David's hands were clenched now. What are you talking about? The moment when you'd go too far. The moment when I'd stop being the doormat. The moment when I'd teach you a lesson about gratitude and respect. By locking us out of the house? Jessica's voice was shrill. You're proving our point. You are being an old... Careful, I said quietly. Very careful. Because I have 2 years of security footage from this house. Every visit, every conversation, every time you used my credit card without asking, Jessica. Every time you mocked me to Tyler behind my back, David. Every rude comment, every eye roll, every dismissive gesture, all recorded, all time-stamped, all backed up to a cloud server you don't have access to. The colour drained from Jessica's face. You wouldn't, David said. Wouldn't what? Show people how my own family treats me. Why wouldn't I? Because we're family. Exactly, we're family. And family doesn't abandon each other on Thanksgiving. Family doesn't use each other. Family doesn't mock and dismiss and take advantage. I stepped back. But you've taught me that those rules only apply one way. I'm supposed to be family to you, but you don't have to be family to me. So what? Jessica's voice was venomous now. You're just going to leave us out here, keep us locked out forever? Of course not. I'm not cruel. I'm teaching you a lesson. I checked my watch. It's 5:30 now. I'm going to make myself a nice Thanksgiving dinner. Turkey breast, mashed potatoes, green beans, the works. Just for me. At 7:30, I'll unlock the front door. You're welcome to come in then. 2 hours, Tyler whined. That's so long. It's actually quite short compared to the 12 hours I spent cooking last year while you all ignored me, but I'm generous. This is abuse, Jessica said. I laughed. Actually laughed in her face. Abuse? Let me tell you about abuse, Jessica. Abuse is using someone's credit card to buy a $700 handbag without asking. Abuse is mocking your mother-in-law for being old-fashioned while living in her house rent-free during visits. Abuse is teaching your son that it's okay to disrespect his grandmother. We don't live here rent-free. Really. Should I calculate the cost of the food you eat, the utilities you use, the room you occupy, the car you borrow, the Wi-Fi you stream on for hours every visit? Should we do that math right now? Silence. I didn't think so. I started to close the door. Wait, David stepped forward. What do you want? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. We're sorry. We should have invited you to Cabo. We should have told you our plans. We were wrong. Are you happy? Can we come in now? I looked at my son. Really looked at him. 48 years old, successful career, beautiful family, and absolutely no idea how to treat the woman who'd raised him. No, I said. You're not sorry yet. You're cold and uncomfortable and annoyed, but you're not sorry. Sorry comes from understanding. Understanding comes from experiencing. So you're going to experience what it feels like to be locked out, to be excluded, to be treated as less than. For 2 hours, David said flatly. For 2 hours. And then we're going to have a conversation. A real one. About respect. About gratitude. About how this family is going to work going forward. I paused. Or not work at all. That's up to you. Jessica grabbed David's arm. Let's just go to a hotel. Yes, I said. You could do that. You could walk away right now. Go back to Phoenix. Never visit again. I wouldn't stop you. I met David's eyes. But you'd lose more than a free place to stay. You'd lose me. Completely. Forever. You'd really cut us off? David's voice was small. David, you already cut me off. You've been cutting me off for years, piece by piece. Little dismissals, small disrespects, casual cruelties. You just did it slowly enough that you didn't notice. I felt tears prick my eyes but didn't let them fall. I'm not cutting you off. I'm giving you a choice. Sit on that porch for 2 hours and think about whether you want a real relationship with me, one based on mutual respect, or leave and we'll just be polite strangers who share DNA. Tyler was staring at me with something that might have been respect, or fear. Hard to tell with teenagers. 2 hours, I repeated. 7:30. Front door will unlock automatically. I'll have the table set for 4. We'll have Thanksgiving dinner together. And then we'll talk about what happens next. And if we choose not to stay, Jessica said coldly, then I'll eat alone. Again. Like I did this morning when I woke up in an empty house. I smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. But I'm getting pretty good at that. I had eggs Benedict and fresh squeezed orange juice. It was delicious. I closed the door before any of them could respond. Through the privacy glass, I watched their shadows. Heard their voices muffled but agitated. Jessica wanted to leave. David was torn. Tyler was silent. I walked back to my kitchen and started cooking. Real cooking. The kind I used to do when David was small, when every meal was made with love and attention. Turkey breast with herbs, garlic mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds, homemade rolls, cranberry sauce from scratch. The house filled with good smells, warm smells, Thanksgiving smells. At 6:15, my phone rang. David's number, I answered. Yes? Mom? His voice was hoarse. We're still here. I can see that on the security camera. A pause. You can see us? Front porch camera. You're sitting on the steps. Tyler's on his phone. Jessica's pacing. This is really happening. Yes. Another pause. I called Jessica's parents to wish them happy Thanksgiving. They asked where we were. I told them the truth. His voice cracked. Do you know what her father said? I waited. He said, good for your mother. He said someone needed to teach me some manners. He said I was lucky to have a mother patient enough to only lock me out for 2 hours instead of cutting me off, permanently. He sounds like a smart man. Mum, I'm really sitting here. I'm really thinking. And I'm realizing... He stopped, started again. I'm realizing I don't know when I turned into this person who treats his mother like a servant. It was gradual, I said quietly, and I let it happen. I enabled it. I thought that's what mothers were supposed to do. Keep the peace, accept everything, never push back. That's not what mothers are supposed to do. No, it's not, but it's what I did. Until today. Jessica's really angry. I know. She says you're manipulative. I laughed. David, I locked you out of my house after you abandoned me on Thanksgiving. If that's the worst manipulation you've experienced in your life, you're very lucky. She says we should leave, get a hotel, never come back. My heart clenched, but my voice stayed steady. That's her choice. What's yours? Silence. Long silence. I want to stay, he said finally. I want to have dinner with you. I want to have that conversation. His voice broke. I want my mom back. Not the mom I've been treating like a doormat. The real mom. The one who used to laugh with me. The one I used to respect. Now the tears came. I let them. Then stay, I whispered. Stay and we'll figure this out. Okay, he hung up. I finished cooking. Set the table with the good china, the good silverware, the good glasses. Put on music. Lit candles. At 7:29, I walked to the front door and manually unlocked it. Opened it wide. They were still there. All three of them. Sitting on the porch steps in the November cold, looking tired and uncertain. David stood first. His eyes were red. Hi, Mom. Hi, David. Jessica stood too, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. Tyler stayed seated, but he was watching me with that maybe respect, maybe fear expression. Dinner's ready, I said. If you'd like to join me. David walked up the steps, stopped in front of me. I'm sorry, really sorry. Not because I'm cold or uncomfortable, because I've been a terrible son, because I've taken you for granted, because I stopped seeing you as a person and started seeing you as a resource. I cupped his face in my hands like I did when he was small. I know. Thank you. Jessica came up next, still not looking at me. I shouldn't have used your credit card, any of the times. I should have asked. I should have been better. Yes, I said simply. You should have. But you can start now. Tyler was last. He stood in front of me, gangly and uncertain. I didn't think old people had feelings like real people. Tyler, Jessica hissed, but I laughed. Thank you for being honest. We do, though. We have all the same feelings. We just have more practice hiding them. Until we don't anymore. He nodded slowly. I won't call you a witch anymore, even in my head. I appreciate that. We went inside. We sat down to dinner. It was awkward at first, silent, careful. Then David asked me about the online courses I'd taken, how I'd learned about home automation. I told them about the hours I'd spent learning, the pride I'd felt in understanding these complex systems. Jessica asked about the security cameras, whether she should install them in their house in Phoenix. We talked about safety and privacy and the balance between them. Tyler asked if I could teach him about network security, said it sounded cool. The conversation grew, warmed. By the time we reached dessert, we were talking like people who actually liked each other. So what happens now? David asked as I served pumpkin pie. What are the new rules? The new rules are simple, I said. Respect, communication, honesty. You treat me like a person with feelings, thoughts, and value. I'll do the same for you. You want to use my credit card? Ask. You want to change holiday plans? Discuss it with me. You want to visit? Wonderful. But you participate, you help, you engage. And if we slip up? Jessica asked quietly. Then we talk about it, like adults. I won't be a doormat anymore, but I won't be a tyrant either. I'll call you out. You'll apologize if needed. We'll adjust. We'll keep trying. What about the security footage? David asked. I smiled. What security footage? His eyes widened. There isn't any. Oh, there's footage, but it's not backed up anywhere. It's just on the local system, 30-day rolling deletion. I may have exaggerated my surveillance capabilities for dramatic effect. Jessica's mouth dropped open. Then she started to laugh. You bluffed us. I learned from the best, I said, looking at David. You used to bluff me in poker when you were 12. I thought you never caught on to that. I caught on. I just let you win sometimes because you were my son and I loved you. He reached across the table and took my hand. I love you too, Mom. I'm sorry I stopped showing it. You're showing it now. That's what matters. We finished dinner. Did the dishes together, all four of us. Tyler washed, Jessica dried, David put away. I supervised and told stories about David's childhood, the embarrassing ones I'd been saving for occasions like this. By the time they left for their hotel at 10, we were laughing, really laughing. David hugged me at the door. Same time next year? Thanksgiving here. If you promise to actually be here, not in Cabo. I promise, and I promise to help cook. I'll believe it when I see it, he laughed. Fair. After they left, I cleaned up the last few dishes and made myself tea, sat in my reading chair with the good view of the front door. My phone chimed. A text from David. Thank you for not giving up on me, on us. I needed this wake-up call. We all did. Love you, Mom, I texted back. Love you too. See you at Christmas. Then I sat there in my quiet house sipping my tea, feeling more content than I had in years. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is a locked door and 2 hours to think about what they're losing. Sometimes family needs to remember that respect isn't automatic. It's earned, maintained, chosen. And sometimes a 52-year-old woman needs to remember that she's not just a mother, not just a grandmother, not just a resource to be used. She's a person, with feelings, with value, with the power to change everything with a few clicks and the courage to stand in a doorway and say no. I finished my tea and smiled at my empty, peaceful, perfectly controlled house. Happy Thanksgiving indeed.